I hope you are cooled off and ready for this one, as Cooler will be in the server facing off versus Vengeur. It should be an absolutely fantastic state of affairs. These two clashing Jahar should be a gem out of tonight's games.
It's gonna be a fair match. It's a little unfair though that you take the cooler pun, leaving it with a Vengeur pun. It's a much harder job.
Oh, I thought you'd be back with a vengeance.
Oh, all right. Obviously, I need more coffee. That's just what that points towards. But honestly, this is the match I've been looking forward to all day. Very nearly, we didn't get to see it. Venger's got internet. Coollerz, he invented the internet. So we do get to see it. And these guys have been going back and forth a lot throughout the entirety of the QPL. Venger's got a lot to prove. Coollerz got a lot to kind of maintain when it comes to his own record and stature. So I don't care about the age gap here anymore. These guys are just some of the most fun to watch.
Then they are. Definitely are. Let's get straight into the veto then. For me, I think personally, I'm just excited to see what Vengeur can do on the server versus Cooler. Vengeur impresses so many times where you see those crazy upsets that come out. The fact this matchup has been basically written in the stars as well, being rank 5 and rank 6, that's huge for the way it could actually affect things going forward.
Yeah, the fact that that this could be a determinant factor for either of them, especially looking at seedings. Um, yeah, this is one of those things where I don't even want to inject too much prediction or cursing or jinxing of it at all. I'm just ready to buckle in for the fight.
Yeah, I mean, keep being our opening map between these two. Is it going to be Vengeur's Keep? Is it going to be Cooller's Keep? We got Doom and Visor being the opening two picks as well for this one. It looks like we're going to try and slip inside of it relatively quickly as well to kick it off here, which is pretty damn good. The way this game continues as well going forward for the rest of the series, we've got Awoken up after that with Vengeur on Ranger, and then Galena coming through as well. So champion pick wise, we're getting a little bit of everything out of this. I mean, we finished it on Molten with a Slash versus Eisen.
Yeah, there are a few people who are still running, things like Scale Bearer. There's still a few people who are running things like Swarlag, and by a few people, I mean Cooler. Like Cooler has been a Swarlag, uh, an enjoyer of the lizard for a very long time, and for a long time, like Swarlag was kind of like the poor man's the poor man's anarchy if you couldn't get anarchy, and so sometimes Swarlag kind of fills that role, but there are certainly benefits to being able to spit on your opponent and in the game. Here we go.
Well, here we go then. Ready to get back into the game. Let's see where we are going to go from here straight away on Keep. We've had some lovely Keep games so far tonight. Vengeur and Cooler be able to make this one a pretty sight as well. Vengeur up right now, making his move initially. They'd have the opening confrontation, and Cooler made his mad dash back across to pick up the Mega. Vengeur's taking it slow. He wants to catch him off guard as he's just hiding out behind the statue.
We won't talk about that rocket too much, but point of the matter being, he's got that first rocket launcher, and Cooller's giving him enough respect to not immediately rush in for it. In fact, even meeting up here right now could be a mistake for Cooler, but he's still not really going for it. And Vengeur has read him to the point where he knows that Cooler's going to be sticking out, hanging out by the Mega, and only going for the rocket launcher when Vengeur makes a move. It's exactly what he's done. He's got his own rockets now, and now Vengeur's feeling a little bit more stuck and light on health. He's going to have to run this back. 8 seconds to wait for a Mega when you have 5 HP. It's a very grown-up decision, Vengeur.
Vengeur finding a way to try and get out of that. He's low on stack, but he's still got confidence, it seems. About 18 seconds until Mega comes up as well, so he's not really got much that can help him out. It'd just be those lights if he wants to try and push around and barely replenish himself. Scavenging a few of them. Cooler is walking around in close proximity as well, just slowly coming in. He needs to clear that angle. By the time he adjusts, he actually lands the flick with a rocket. That is a smooth move to hit.
It's a smooth move to hit, and it's kind of appalling that Cooler didn't make his initial hit. It's so much harder to hit somebody who doesn't know you're there. And Cooler's proving that handily here. He's still able to take away the heavy armor, so they kind of back off from that engagement without anybody really gaining any real ground. But it'll still come down to that ambush hit. Vengeur's kind of got himself in a weird position right now. Exiting is not going to come for free. 2 seconds to Mega. Vengeur's going to wait for it. There's the Mega pickup. Is it worth this all this LG, though? I mean, look at Coollerz accuracy. Vengeur going, he's still there? Yeah, he's still there. And taking the first frag.
Well, armor up. He's going to be able to gain that back. The shot he's on parade. He dives down, heading back over in towards the nail room and chasing his way up. He'll catch a glimpse of him, and now with this information, he'll try and make it work in his favor. Attacks coming through from the HMG, just a little spam here and there. Uses the visor. And here's the capitalization with the LG. He's trying to riddle him with a Watts, but instead it'll be the buckshot that he wants to finish him with, and that's the way the cookie will crumble.
Oh, what about a LG there? Absolutely damaging. Coollerz leaves that with a little bit of health, a little bit to recover on, but he's not too worried about Vengeur breathing down his neck right off the spawn. Here in the red room, though, yeah, his LG's got to be incredible to be able to defend that, but Vengeur's respecting it, backing off, letting Coollerz have 50 health, and doing a lot of damage with the last little bit of LG he has. At this point, Vengeur needs to start counting cells and go, okay, now is a good time to rush. Great rocket, nearly bouncing Coollerz right onto the heavy, but there's the pickup.
Not really having the best start to this matchup yet, and the keep certainly seems to be in favor of Coollerz. He is making this one too cold to hold as well right now. As he drops down. Waiting for the peak to come around. The LG spam goes out. He's got him within Death's grasp. He could certainly find himself 3 frags up if the aggression works out well, but he's got his gaze set to maximizing the major item pickups first. That's now both of them in his possession. Here comes the turn with the LG out. Shotgun comes through, and there it is. That's the left-right good night.
That was absolutely demoralizing. There's a certain kind of movement you start making when you know that A, you have the stack, B, you have the weapons, and C, you know exactly where to find your opponent. You are just cruising into town, and he took no damage in that fight. Vengeur, though, directly off the spawn, manages to strip away all of Coollerz's incredible stack. So Coollerz doesn't get any info out of that first rocket, opening things up for Vengeur a little bit. I can't believe that Vengeur's actually got a chance in this fight, given everything that happened a minute ago. Still 10 seconds before any item comes up. And that defensive rocket from Coollerz could keep Vengeur out of here just a little bit longer.
He's just spamming away. He has got the Mega. A bigger stack.
5 minute
A whole lot more confidence than Vengeur, it seems, right now. Coollerz is just sticking to his guns and playing his own game, farming up those hourglasses as well, and it comes just up at the perfect time for him, meaning he can really begin to unload and leave Vengeur gasping. He'll be roaming back over, close towards Mega Spawn. Coollerz goes flying over him.
Damn. It's just impressive not getting stuck on that fight and going, nah, this is not worth my attention. It's not worth my time. I have better places to be right now. You don't factor into my plans. Not yet, anyway. He's got Mega, he's got Heavy. Heavy's going to be up for Vengeur. It's going to be a neutral pickup at least. But we haven't seen Vengeur do any significant damage in a little bit. There's the piercing sight once again. He didn't need the piercing sight to see him for that machine gun play, but Vengeur is going to do a little bit of self-damage as well. He's on death's doorstep. Coollerz looking to hunt him down, and yeah, this is the right place to find him. That is a done deal.
Four minutes left. 4 frags already for Coollerz. A huge advantage over Vengeur here. And again, it seems like he's read the situation well. Peeking out behind the statue, it'll be a bit of an odd firefight between them both. He's not actually going to swoop in and fully commit to this either. He's instead playing the long con, biding his time to make it hurt when it counts. Piercing sight goes out, and he knows he's left Mega. He's made his way round up by the rocket spawn. That means Coollerz can swing in, get Heavy, and then go in for a bit more of a cleaner fight between them.
And he's making these exits just in time, leaving Vengeur wondering, did he actually leave the heavy armor every single time? Like, we get to see the X-ray at least, and that just tells such a story of how unsure Vengeur is of where Coollerz is at any given moment. Well, this should be a clue. Doesn't get much more classic than sitting on top of the Mega, but Vengeur just cannot deal with that LG. Holy shit, 42% to 25. Vengeur just isn't warmed up with it. What's his ping? All right, 30, it's fine.
Firing out those tri-bolt shots, but no real big impacts are coming through. Instead, Cooler on the LG. Just so much damage. Even though Vengeur was getting the opening tags out and he was the one that initiated first, it's Cooler that's being really able to pack a punch and look like he is in the dominant position right now. Waiting as well. Here comes the push from behind. Nice play with the rockets to at least scare him and force him back. Cooler might be low, but I imagine he's not really going to want to fall into any traps. He'll just try and keep his distance. Both of the major items up in around 10 seconds from now as well. He is setting up closer towards the heavy. Has those hourglasses as well, so he does have the additional information when needed.
I'm hoping at this point that Vengeur is more aware of when Cooler is off of his piercing sight. There have been a lot of situations where Vengeur just doesn't want to push in because he knows that Cooler will have the info. He'll have that first rocket, and really, with an LG like that, all you need is one rocket pop to set things up properly. But there's the piercing sight once again. He pops it immediately. And so Vengeur's on the run once again, just trying to stay low and then cover. But where does he go from here? 5 frags up for Cooler. Minute and a half. It might not mean so much for this map anymore, but the general problem of figuring out how to crack Cooler when he is just being so ice cold, it's the real question mark. Vengeur's already anticipating the play through the teleporter, but Cooler is being a little bit slower with all of his movements than Vengeur ever expects.
Coming out once more, and here's the actual individual skill from this man beginning to shine through. Beautiful amount of damage done. Wasn't ready for the peek on the left though. As Vengeur swings into play, this could be his opening frag, but the Mega might just save it for Cooler. They're both down to basically the same position in health, but the HMG just keeps on firing, rattling off those shots to send him down again. Dives over his head, and Vengeur gets the backstab off with a shotgun.
All right, we'll give him that one. And he's got a good stack at the end of it. Just unfortunately, 5 frags, 30 seconds. It just doesn't add up. But that was impressive. And again, maybe the bigger moral of that is Vengeur figured something out. Hopefully, he can take those lessons into the next map. But it's going to be different champs, different geometry, maybe a different Vengeur.
We need to see
there we have
him on full power if he's going to be able to get anything really going for himself. Cooler, quite dominant, at least on keep overall. He's got his QPL uniform on. And he's looking rather dashing. He took that to the server, and it worked out well for him.
Even at the end, 38% LG. That 50% super shotgun from Vengeur was like one of his 2 frags. So, yeah. But what a danger Cooler is presenting already. We have kind of 2 different modes of Cooler where he is just this absolute hitman who is just precise, deadly, cool, and calculated. And then there's times where he's a little bit cheekier, a little bit more mischievous and experimental with his play, which we could see in a map like Molten Falls. We could see that in a map like Blood Covenant. We might see it out of his Sorlag just because that makes sense. But Corrupted Keep, no, he had Vengeur on complete lockdown. More than even Vengeur realized, because there are so many times when Vengeur was like, okay, he's still staying there. He's hovering over by heavy. I need to keep my back to him. Not realizing he's actually backing into Cooler. He's already gone. Jeez. What a guy.
I know. Crazy stuff that was coming out there. I mean, it's good for the series overall, because at least if Vengeur can now show what we saw towards the later moments of that, and it seems like he has woken up a little bit more, then maybe there's potential. Obviously, he's really going to want to try and fight fiercely into this one. They're so close in the standings. It's such a good point for Vengeur if he can get maps of Cooler here, if he can get momentum against him. Cooler up 1 map now, though. Obviously, we've still got time. The series can be decided if Vengeur can bite back here going into the next map.
And we have seen, back and forth between these 2 before. Whether it's going to be today, again, Cooler just set a hell of a precedent with that first map. Certainly staked his claim. It'll take something fundamentally different from Vengeur this time. But Coollerz all set. Vengeur's all set. And hopefully Vengeur's taking this moment just to catch a breath. Bringing Ranger in for the next one. That will certainly help out. Coollerz, again, it's appalling watching him be aggressive because he knows when to be aggressive, but he is able to play with defensive champions quite handily and really slow down the game, which is something that must be annoying for players who know that he's got a great LG, he's got a great rail, he's got some dangerous things to take care of, but then he just doesn't give you those fights all the time.
Yeah. Well, it seems like Awoken is going to be our next map for this one. Obviously, have been enjoying the games we've had so far with it. It's been enjoyable. And if it carries on in that fashion, it should be good. We're just getting that updated, obviously switching over the map to Awoken now, and then we'll step back into the game. Awoken between these two with the picks they've actually got, I'm pretty excited for it. Galena's got a couple of cheeky spots you can play. A lot more aggressive things you can do with the totem there. Obviously, Ranger, we've already seen the cheeky spots. You can whip out that orb.
Yeah, if you're well caffeinated, you can use those totems. You know, it's not about the raw damage. It's not about the healing even. It's much more about forcing difficult decisions on your opponent. You know, do you want to come up that jump pad for Mega when you know I've got a totem in my pocket and it's going to be a problem for you? It's not going to be a problem directly on launch, but I'm going to put it on the edge of the jump pad. And when we're footseeing around with the LG, that's when it becomes an issue. Is that something you really want to walk in on? It's the damage, it's the sound effect, it's the explosion. And Coollerz is deadly with that stuff. Vengeur will presumably have a little bit more control over the middle portion of the map. He might be able to cross from, you know, LG to heavy armor a little bit more handily, but it's difficult because, again, you get kind of mad at how good Coollerz is with some of just these raw weapon skills that you kind of want to bring that fight directly to him, and you go, forget the abilities, forget the stack. I just want to rush you down, take you down once so that I can, you know, very quickly scoop up items and then try to keep that momentum going. Doesn't always work out.
Item hoover and just really take it to them. Well, it looks like we are starting to load into the map now then, so not too long until we dump into this one here on Awoken. I'm curious to see how it goes. I think Vengeur obviously still has a lot more to prove. Awoken is a map that historically he's always been very proficient on. He is good on this map. It plays into his characteristics as a pro. So if we see him living his movie a little bit, having a bit of fun with it, maybe there's a lot of chance. But overall, I think you do have to give your favor to Coollerz. It's the fact that he is still just a living legend.
And again, keep in mind that, you know, ranking wise, these guys couldn't be more neck and neck in season 3 right now. So that'll change after today, of course. By how much? Well, that remains to be seen. Good luck to both of them as we get into Awoken.
Yeah, into the game. Just waiting to get this one kicking off. And in reality, it's just a matter of who's going to come out the gate swinging first, as we've seen a lot of fantastic plays already from the back. Let's see what more they will have here as we are in. Starting off with Coollerz here on his Galena. Grabs the tribal early on.
Yeah, that spawn near the LG, it gives you a few options. It doesn't give you that rocket launcher immediately. But it does mean, yeah, there's going to be a fight at the railgun immediately. Coollerz going to have his LG out already. 69 HP. Vengeur's got that rail, so that makes it a bit of a danger, but Coollerz already making good use of totems. Wanting to put number 2 down here on the banana. It's one away from a pocket mega. But still, no rail, no rocket launcher, so Coollerz just a little bit longer. And these rails from Vengeur are going to keep that play going. A good use of the Dire Orb to take that first frag. Coollerz was certainly not expecting it. Whew. All right.
Vengeur. He can turn the corner going straight into these totems. If he pushes in, he'll Dire Orb over instead. And that actually does keep him alive and kicking as Coollerz goes down screaming and kicking. Slain by Vengeur there on the push. Putting him 2 frags up early on. This is a fantastic start to Awoken for him. And showing that he's definitely come out reinvigorated. Waiting for the heavy spawn up. Using the push off the wall as well with the rocket to launch over making his move into the heavy in time, but he takes way too much damage. He can't afford to dilly-dally and wait around anymore. He has to reposition.
Yeah, I mean, that movement would... Oh no, why the switch to Gauntlet? That actually wasn't that bad, but again, it's less about the damage and more about the psychology of it. It's just so discombobulating. And that gave Coollerz first frag up, taking away that heavy, and he could take a less fancy but more sure route over to the Mega. Unfortunately, that's a route that opens him up to a lot of spam. I like the Tri-Bolt coming out here. Is it going to be enough? No, Coollerz got the pickup for the Mega. This is time for Vengeur to leave. He hasn't left yet. Coollerz knows he's still hiding out there in the corner. Nearly kills himself. Coollerz going to give him a helping hand. Give him some Courtney love.
Cooler. Force this one back immediately. He's not wasting any time to get this game tied, and he's roaming as well. He's got his totem down, turning the corner with the LG, firing it out quite aggressively, and he will actually cause him to retreat. Vengeur's having to try and roam out of there. He isn't really content taking these fights currently. Coollerz won when it comes to the confidence spout. Also goes for the cheeky little place so we can get the additional light armor to deny that early on. He's in a good spot right now. He's going to be sitting pretty with this one so far.
Yeah, the stack is daunting, to say the least. This is a good corner to be set up on. I like that rocket out of Vengeur. He wasn't able to follow it up with much. And Coollerz coming back for more. He's got that totem to run away with if he needs to. And he's still stabbing out with the rail out of nowhere. So Vengeur comes out much worse for the wearer out of that fight. Has to go back to the banana. 50 health there. A little bit of armor here. But in the end, it's going to be Coollerz keeping his back to both the heavy armor and the Mega. 10 seconds in. Yeah, these are a critical 10 seconds for Vengeur. He's using that, though, to completely leave the fight for the Mega, thinking, all right, it's going to go get Mega. I'm just going to cycle back over towards LG. Stay safe.
Death is the only release. I will not grant you that privilege.
Cooler. Slaps in the side, sidelined by the rocket. He wasn't ready for it. He's trying to return with some of his own as he blind fires down. A lot of connections going the way of Vengeur, leaving him relatively low. He dives out, darting out of there to keep himself moving. They want a battle for control of this Mega, but it's still 6 seconds off. And Coollerz, he's not going to waste any time. He wants to strike and strike hard, but he's taking all of the hits. Oh, he got low, but he still shined through and does find the frag onto Vengeur.
He didn't even blink at that dire orb. He thought he could go through it. He won't. And in fact, if Vengeur had gotten through it, it could have been a messy frag for either of them, but Coollerz was just so steely-eyed. Didn't even care. But Coollerz, well, at least up until then, he had Pocket Mega. Whiffs the jump on down. But he's got rails here, at least. So, yes, Vengeur's going to get this Mega. I'm not certain if I can authoritatively say that it's that jump that Coollerz missed that gave Vengeur that Mega, but it's something. Coollerz hasn't lost anything, though. Ooh. Almost got knocked out.
5-minute warning.
Sending himself flying up. There's the peek from Coollerz. Every time he gets an opportunity, he's hitting these shots to keep whittling down that total stack for Vengeur. It's the first time he's actually really put himself into a good spot, as now he grabs the Mega. Builds it back up a little bit. More sustained to play with. Coollerz just lurking. He was staying true to his guns, waiting over by the heavy. Rapid adjustment there to at least get the shot off, but now Vengeur is absolutely stacked and using the confidence to peek, but you wouldn't really guess if you looked at his HP now, as Coollerz shredding him time after time, landing these shots to buckle his armor. He comes launching round the corner,
no.
the LG is out, but it's not finding the kill.
But unfortunately, yeah, that dire orb found the door frame, and that is just so... It might have saved his life, honestly. I don't know how well that would have gone for him if he was stuck in that fight entirely. So the door frame might have been doing him a solid at that point. Oh, Coollerz nearly getting knocked out of the map. I was surprised Vengeur had any fuel left in his tank after Coollerz was just punishing every single corner. But now Cooller's got to back off. I'm just in shock that it's one frag between them with Coollerz behaving the way that he is. But there are a few surprises left. Vengeur's certainly got a few. And now he's got stack as well. But now Cooler can play this as slow as he likes. And so far, he's shown that he'll have no problem controlling the pace of the game if he needs to. But these rails coming out of Vengeur, and that time Cooler blinked at the Dire Orb. An orb that didn't even crest the staircase.
Death is the only release. I will not grant you that privilege.
Cooler. Tribord out. Big tags. Ooh. As he launches over. Smooth moves to get into a good position. Spots Vengeur jumping to barely peek, bobbing his head through the hole. Just catching a glimpse of his eyes as he swings back up. 10 seconds till Mega's up, and that was where he was hoping to go to, but Vengeur, rapid on his feet, drops down, eliminates him, and launch backs over. That means he is going to be getting that free Mega. He's put himself into a lovely position with his overall stack, but can he carry on fragging and take this 4-3? Doesn't fancy overcommitting to the fight. Backs off for now.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think that was mostly a fight that just burned off stack for Vengeur. Fortunately, he's got heavy to come back to. But Cooler, yeah, he was able to recover on the totems fairly effectively, and Vengeur didn't even have a goodbye rocket to clear those out. So Cooler can still make a little mini fortress back there while slowing the game down. Vengeur, though, full stack. And Cooler needs to defend these totems. Oh, there's the frag, but now, really, the more important thing is you need to get rid of those. Yeah, they need to go away.
Ooh,
good rail.
Clean stuff. Needs to keep on moving with the frags, though. Time is close on this one. And that's a good way to really send a point home. If he just would have waited for a few more seconds, there could have been another frag given to him. But unfortunately, the timing was not in his favor. But watch on Cooler. So much better.
That's the real argument for turning X-Ray off, is our hearts don't get broken by seeing stuff like that. But 1 minute 30 seconds left to go. Cooler getting away with the heavy armor. That's going to make this next fight more difficult, at least. And there's the goodbye rocket. But Vengeur doesn't really have a leg to stand on in this fight. No, it didn't get through the hole! Oh! Oh! Oh, that hurt to see. That actually would have gotten him out of the fight. It would have saved him. It's a little bit too tight.
1 minute warning.
Okay. 4-4. 1 minute to go. And Cooler's got the God stack. Vengeur's got the top of the map, but as we've seen so far, that is no guarantee of advantage. Cooller's defensive LG from even this angle, so dangerous. And again, another missed opportunity on the rail. At least Vengeur's being quiet enough now to get away with those. Good damage out of Vengeur. Begging Cooler to come up that jump pad. It's not going to happen, of course. 3 seconds to heavy. Those rockets tell Cooler that he's already crossed over to the other side. That means he can move in here. Yeah.
Lost.
Oh, okay, cool. He got really patient. And now he's calling GG. All right. Wow.
Why?
I mean, one frag. I mean, that's,
yeah.
Don't do it, Vengeur. She would step back from that ledge, my friend.
You win.
Vengeur's taking a map. He's done it. Ah, what a win that is. And gotta respect it from Coollerz saying, you know, that was it. You did the thing. Oh my God.
Just giving it over to him there in the end. Didn't fancy his chances and let it go the way of Vengeur. He will lock it down in the end with that final frag, dragging him through. So we are tied up 1-1 apiece at this point. Awoken obviously being a better map for Vengeur, meaning Molten will now be the final map and the decider between the both of them.
Molten with a sore lag coming out of Cooler, amazingly enough. So that will be interesting, to say the least. What's striking to me is how many weird things happened for Vengeur that certainly weren't in his favor, and he still managed to pull that map ahead by a single frag. Yeah, I'm seeing thrown in chat. I don't know. It was like a, well, that's it for me. I really want to play Sorlag now, so now he gets to. Yeah. That was a good game. I mean, I keep saying like this has been the best map of the day so far, and they just keep getting better.
Yeah, it's certainly been a good matchup between the both of them, and now's where it gets quite interesting as well. Two very fast champions over on Molten. Obviously, a lot of wide open space, so it could be a bit of a marathon between the both of them. We do get that Sorlag coming out for Cooler. So what can he do with this big girl?
He can get railed. He can get LG'd. I mean, she's still on Atkins, so still a bit of a target when it comes to some of those weapons. That could be dangerous. There's going to be a lot more rails here, of course, it being Molten Falls. The close range stuff in the rail room is going to be fascinating. It's been such a long time since I've seen Sorlag seriously played on Molten Falls. Let's see how serious Cooler gets, if at all.
Yeah, what he's actually going to do once we get into the action here. It looks like we are starting to load into Molten Falls, our last map between these two for this series. It is split down the middle right now, so whoever wins it will take it in a 2-1 fashion and get the majority of points. They are ridiculously close in standings, as close as they can possibly be, so this might actually have a bit of weight to it in the overall effect of the outcomes here in Week 10.
Well, we won't be waiting long. They are loaded in. And we are good to go here on Molten Falls. Slash and Sorlag. Hopefully we don't see too much of that.
Fight.
All right, but here we go. We got Vengeur getting the spawn on Mega, presumably heading back up towards LG immediately. No, he's actually circling around for Rocket Launcher first. With that extra speed, he can put some real pressure on the railgun, hoping to catch Cooler there just as he gets there. But Cooler, he's done his homework, he's done his math. He knows exactly where Vengeur can be and when.
Vengeur, just waiting right now, playing for the audio, bobbing back and forth and listening for the potential read, expecting him to come around from the stairwell. There comes the Mega Spawn. He will barely take that as he'll bob his way through and now start to swing out aggressively. Went down the bounce pad, suspecting him to come out straight through the porter, but he hasn't reared himself through just yet.
But the lack of damage here, we're just getting a lot of sound, and it's going to be just reactive vomit from Cooler. And that's just enough to push him over. There's that LG coming out to finish him off, but Cooler didn't get out of that with a whole lot of extra health. Vengeur has to be a little bit disappointed about the spawn, though. It's not a spawn that gives him an immediate fight. There's a little bit of room, a little bit of time before he can capitalize on all the damage done to Cooler. And by that time, it's all going to circle the drain. Yeah, Cooler's got heavy. He's back up to 100 health. That means that Vengeur really cannot afford, with this stack and with this champion, to play the I'm going to wait around a corner, listen for you, and get the first hit in. Especially not from that corner.
Well, almost 2 minutes in. Coollerz won a frag up. He's playing the waiting game as well. Going down the pace a lot, and that is definitely the correct call to make. He fired out those shots, but they were merely warnings. The globule's not going to be tagging up Vengeur as well and giving him that damage over time. So he's able to breeze himself straight by. Get out of there for now. Cooler. Oh, thought he was actually going to overstep the mark, turn the corner, and try and go in for the fight as Vengeur was waiting for him.
Waiting for him, waiting for the armor, waiting for the Mega. And now that he's got all three, he's ready for a fight here on the shotgun. Initial rockets coming out of Cooler with a fadeaway rail. It's going to be Vengeur going, all right, enough of that. That was fun. Come back later. Oh, but no, not this fight, not now. There's defensive slime trail, using the health to knock off the slime. But 8 seconds to Mega. Yeah, Vengeur's got to be looking a little bit nervous here. He's done damage, but he could lose a lot just by being here. Yeah, I like this, though. Maximizing the use of that Mega. And creating a little bit of timing gap between them as well. That means that the next heavy is going to be certainly a little bit more competitive. But Coollerz chilling out by the rail room. Sipping his tea and reading the paper. Because he's 80. 80 LG.
Definitely on point at the minute with some of the shots he's been landing. Quite deep into this game as well, and there hasn't been much of a response from Vengeur, and that's not going to be a chance for him either. He dropped the plasma trail, was skating around trying to deny any potential pickup of the Mega. He did do that, but he suffered a major loss going down as Cooler will frag him. He's starting to roam once again. Vengeur swishes back by, grabs that Mega to build up his stack, but it is going to get torn off him. Coollerz hitting all of his rails.
And even after those 225s, he's still in the danger zone when it comes to rails. And you can see, I mean, this is playing out a lot like Nyx v like Sorlag would play on Blood Covenant years ago, where the lighter champion can take like one rail and then immediately just have to exit the fight. But he's standing his ground with the LG right now. It's not enough. Standing in the slime's not going to be helpful. That's 3 frags up for Coollerz now. But could this be an opportunity? Is this wisdom? Coollerz, though, bouncing back over towards Mega, circling back for the heavy. Vengeur waiting for it. I think, is that his first heavy? Yeah, that was his first heavy of the game. 4.5 minutes in. Didn't even have timing for it for the most part. On the same token, Coollerz doesn't have timing for the Mega either. And he still doesn't, in fact. So, I'm sorry, I was reading the wrong icon. Yeah, so he's a little bit early on it, but he still managed to get the pickup. So traded information as we hit the halfway point. So 5 minutes down, and all of these fights have gone Coollerz's way. Vengeur hasn't really put much of a dent on him. It's been slow going, but not very useful for Vengeur.
Damage over time, consistently ticking as well until he finds himself back over by the Mega. He might find himself going down here. No, this time he defies it and wins in that duel versus Coollerz. That's 1 frag to his name. He still needs 2 more to tie up. Plasma Trail is leaving this room essentially completely blocked off and denying the pathway for Coollerz. He'll have to set his gaze somewhere else for now. We're quite deep into this one as well. Over halfway through. And Vengeur, seeming like he might have actually found his stride once again. Should win this fight if he gets the Mega, which he will. Snatches it away, and the LG is doing a lot of damage close. But he does get it.
A toe-to-toe LG fight, and Vengeur manages to take it away. I hope he doesn't expect that to happen too often. It certainly won't. These rockets are good. The Great absorbs a little bit of the damage, but Coollerz gets out of that fight with Heavy to pick up. So it's a little bit of a reset here, but a reset that at the moment favors Coollerz, because he can come around the corner and be on top of this Mega fairly quickly. Vengeur's going to leave it, though. Go back in for his own railgun. So that takes us back to the realm of who gets the first hit.
Six minutes 30 past. Coollerz. He's got his globules. He's got his arsenal. And he's ready for a scrap. We'll fire them out initially. Vengeur comes flying around the corner, utilizing that maximum speed. The high velocity works well, but he's forced to fall back. He's taken a ton of damage as well. And he's so close to his demise here. Just barely bobbing and weaving on the edge, hoping to bait him in so we could get the kill with a shotty. But it was not meant to be. Coollerz snatches it away and takes it 5-2. Oh, almost 6-2 if he carries on like this.
Where did Vengeur think he was going? He was just gliding over the top of Mega like he was out for a Sunday stroll, but no. The fact that he did that much damage for such a weird situation is impressive, but it's not going to help him claw his way towards a lead. Coollerz stuck on the LG side, but defending with the rail means Vengeur has to back off once again. Absolutely in the danger zone. Vengeur will have like, what, 225s and maybe an armor to pick up over here? And Coollerz on his way. He's coming. He's ready. The spit is out. There's no more 25s to pick up. This could just be a waiting game. Vengeur has nowhere to go but down.
Ooh, good adjustment from Coollerz. Gets the additional speed and also really makes a point with his rocket launcher into that one, launching himself off at high octane velocity. We'll meet him back over towards the stairs. A little bit of LG out. Retreats for now.
Just shoved off the edge. Oh, man. That is a dangerous balcony. How come the Elder Gods never put in safety rails? There's nothing safe about these rails. Oh, but there's Coollerz just making too much noise to realize where Vengeur is, but doesn't even care. just stands his ground, plants his claws in the pavement, and just lets out with that LG. Jeez, 2 to 8. Vengeur's got to know the writing's on the wall. It's been clawed in. It's got to be doing some damage here.
Cooler just bouncing around as well, building up velocity and momentum. Does decide to take another fight as he'll turn around. We got the damage over time off. He's looking to be able to capitalize off the back of this. They're both low, but it's the rockets from Cooler that blow him to smithereens. Cooler so much further ahead. No real time left for Vengeur. Surely this has just got to be him walking out of the ring with a belt now.
I think Coollerz figured out Sorlag. ADing doesn't work because Sorlag's hitbox is so big. So don't move. Your effective hitbox over like a 3-frame average is probably smaller if you just don't move. If you AD around, you're gonna get hit more. It's not like Anarchy. So just don't move. You don't get hit. It's the only thing that makes sense.
Seems to be working out for him for the minute. Ooh, and that LG is going to spill some more blood. There's the GG called from Vengeur, and that is Cooler locking down and taking the series 2-1 on the split.
Lots of respect, though. Absolutely love that matchup. Fantastic match. So we're like, you're such a weird lady. Oh, man, but still a little bit of a drop in the LG accuracy from Cooler, of course, playing against Slash. That's going to happen. Big bump on the flip side from playing that Sorlag 41% for Vengeur. Relatively high rails for both of them, but so many of those fights were less about, railing and kind of circling around each other and getting close over time and much more, here's a corner, one of us is going to vomit, the other one's going to skate, and that's how we're going to play it.
Yeah,
Is that how you handle Sorlag v Slash? I don't know. Not today.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we had, though. And that's how it goes down in the end, obviously, with the victory for Cooler. He kept it close. He walks away. There was some good moments throughout the entire series. It was definitely close the entire way through. Obviously, a much tighter score line than what you'd look at on paper, just looking at a 2-1. Awoken was a very good matchup as well. For me, that was probably the most exciting.
Yeah, so many blunders, but that's what makes these games fascinating.
It really does indeed. Well, coming straight out of this one, we'll be going into another huge game that is on our hands. Game 7 is going to be Coollerz versus Razy, a rematch you will not want to miss. That'll be up after the break.